Hey everyone, it's Justice. Thanks so much for tuning in again. We're going to be inking up my pens, and in order to do that, I essentially just sit down, put all of my pens in front of me, all of my ink, and then decide what goes in what. The tops of my ink bottles, I have put a little circle sticker on top, and I do a little swab of the ink. I'm not sure who I saw do that, but I'm definitely not the creator of that idea. I've definitely seen videos, so I don't want to claim anything, but it's really a game changer because I do like a lot of warm colors, and so most of my inks look the same until I actually look at the bottle, but this has been much easier. This little thing that you see here, it's an ink syringe. It's essentially a blunt tip needle syringe, and you can use that to pull ink out of a bottle and put it in your pen a bit easier, because that specific ink, that is the Pilot Irishizuku Sayoro. It was one of the very first inks I ever got. I actually got what I think is called the summer set, and so it comes with Sayoro, Amairo, and Fuyugaki, and that is almost gone. So I'm kind of just sucking out the last little bit I can and filling it in my pen. So it makes it so much easier, because otherwise you have to dip your nib in and there's going to be a specific breather hole area, and there's not enough ink to get past that so that I can fill. Besides that, the ink syringe is really helpful in that it's a lot cleaner, honestly. Like, it's way easier to just flush out the syringe than it is to dip your entire pen in. Well, not entire pen, but like dip it up to the breather hole, then wipe that down. And I feel like it's a bit less wasteful too, because I can just squirt a majority of it back in, whereas if I dip my whole pen nib, that's just going to be wasted. I have to wipe it off, otherwise it's going to be a terrible experience. And yeah, that's essentially it. You can see that the little rag that I'm using, it's actually a glasses cleaning cloth. I grabbed that because I was really afraid of scratching my nibs somehow, and although I've gotten over that fear because I now know that they're pretty sturdy, I still use this cloth because why not? It's less wasteful than to use paper towels. And I know that there has been recently a debate on paper towels versus actual cloths, and people like Brian Goulet, he's mentioned in one of his recent Q&As that he just uses a not a washcloth, a paper towel. And for him, it's like, I'll use it, and then I'll chunk it. It's not like every single time I fill a pen I get a new paper towel, which, that's totally cool. I don't mind that at all. But I also really like the archival quality of it. Like, it's not archival, but I can look back at this really ugly rag and be like, oh man, look at all those inks. And it just makes me happy. I've been using that for many years now, and so just looking back at all of the times that I filled ink is so fun. Because at first it was just a couple splotches where it looks like a non-intentional stain, and I don't know, it's a fun thing. And you can see here I am writing down what inks I'm using. I don't do this all the time because I generally keep the same inks and the same pens because I have a thing, but whenever I do decide to switch them up, I like to do this. I don't reference it in any way. I don't ever look back at it because I forget what ink is in the pen, because honestly, it's not that important. And with my pens, I tend to know what kinds of colors I like with which nib, but this is really just so I can look back and be like, wow, that's how that wrote, or man, this was really cute. I don't need it in any way. And also, for you guys, it provides kind of an example of how things write. Like my Pilot Vanishing Point Decimo. That nib is super thin. It's one of my favorites, honestly, because with that nib on the Decimo, it's it has some give. It has some give, especially compared to the regular fine on my other Pilot Vanishing Points. The extra fine has just a little bit of give, and so whenever you write, it provides just the amount of variation that I like to see. Because the other ones the amount of thickness they have on them, which isn't even that much, doesn't allow it to kind of go up and down, whereas the extra fine on the Decimo does, and it's probably my favorite writer. The TWSBI, honestly, my least favorite. I'm probably going to sell both of them eventually, because with the way I roll, I think I've said it before, but I don't like to have more than what I can fit in my pen pouch, which is only 10 pens, because that is a limiter for myself so that I don't go crazy. And if you kind of see my arm right there, I burnt myself baking. Oh, isn't that so fun? At work, some people thought that I got like some cool tiger stripe tattoo or something, but it's just a burn from the oven. And I'm going to finish up the spread with a little wee bit of journaling. I don't know why, but I can't just leave a page empty. Like, I see so many people have these beautiful spreads that are very minimal, and they'll just have like a couple lines, a couple boxes, and then just a little bit of writing. And that is beautiful, but I can't find myself doing it. At first, I thought it was because I didn't want to be wasteful and just like use that paper, but that's not it. I have tons of notebooks on the back burner that I can use no problem. I just don't like leaving a blank page. I don't know what it does to my brain. I don't know why, but it just kills me. And one thing I do want to note, you can see that this is dated the 29th of May. We're in June now, dudes. We're in June. And to be fair, it was only like a week or two's difference because that's the very end of May. But my intentions were to get this up immediately. And in between this date and now, I've been playing a ton of Pokemon Go. The community day that we just had yesterday on June 7th, 8th? I don't know what day it is now. But it was on a Saturday in June where they had tons and tons of Slackoths. Boy, you bet I used them peanut berries to get me a Slacking, and he's so good. His IV is great. And for those that don't play Pokemon or Pokemon Go, I'm so sorry about that. I just had to talk about it. And we're just finishing up. Thank you so much for coming along and inking up my pens with me. If you could leave a comment, like this video, and just tell me about how your day is going. I'm really curious. You guys have a great one. Bye-bye.